So today we're going to be looking at ways to get rich when you have no starting money. I've already shown ways to make insane amounts of money if you already have money, but there were a lot of people asking, but I don't have any money, how do I make money? So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to get started making a lot of money, and then you can use that money later to invest it like I showed in some of these other videos, and I will continue to show in some future videos. So today we're going to be focused on a few different things. There's a lot of different ways to make money as someone who does not have money, ways to make thousands of coins per hour. But one of the backbones of making money is going to be Greenwood. That's one of the ways we're going to try it. We're going to check out Greenwood. Now, prices may vary on your server. You may see Greenwood selling for 0.1, but generally, if that is the case, that means everything else sells for 0.1, and I would ask you to look at some expensive things like Tolvium and see what it costs on your server versus mine, because expensive things are way more expensive on my server generally, but maybe not, you know. We're also going to be looking at seasonings and farming them. I saw a video the other day about how much money you can make with seasonings, and so we're going to check out seasonings. And we're also going to check out, coincidentally, iron ore, which we'll get on one of the routes for one of these. And also, we're going to look at weak mana potions. And yes, it is not just my server that these are worth 4 to 7 apiece. A lot of people get these mixed up with weak health potions, as I found out in the comments of my other video. And I would argue that if you say they're worth 0.01, do come to my Discord and show me a screenshot, because I'm not going to believe that till I see it for weak mana potions. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Windword, and there's a route I can do where I farm a bunch of hyssop for seasonings, go through, get some hemp, get a bunch of trees, kill a bunch of boar while I wait for the hyssop to respawn, and we just go in a loop. Now, I'm not going to make you watch all of it. I'm going to do it for 30 minutes. We're going to see how much I get. I'm going to show you it sped up so you can see the loop, and then I'm just going to skip to the end. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch 2 minutes of me running around and fast forward. Just enough for you to understand what's going on here. So let's check that out. So here are the results from running that route with the hyssop and the greenwood. The bulk of the money came from the greenwood and the rawhide that I got from the boars. The hyssop is garbage on my server, but all this is going to hinge on the price of greenwood, price of rawhide, price of hyssop, and the price of these herbs. Now, I'm doing this next day. All of this sold except the rage hide, which I didn't think would sell for that price anyway, and the ginger, which I sold the majority of, but I still have like 20 left to go or something. Everything else is gone for these prices on my server. Now, this amount is going to vary, and this was a half-hour run, so I multiply by 2 to get 3,000 an hour, although realistically it might be more like 1.8 because you do have to go back to town occasionally, and a half-hour run circumvents that. But it's roughly going to be, on my server, somewhere between 2,500 and 5,000 coins per hour. Now, the reason this varies is because this on my server can go as high as 0.4, this can go as high as 0.6, this can go as high as 0.35, this can go as high as 0.15, and then the herbs are going to change depending on where you are. And if you find a good hyssop spawn that you want to cycle like this that has herbs that are worth more, then you can make more. But these herbs that I got from this run were not worth very much per unit, but that doesn't mean that there aren't herbs that are in different places, but I'd have to find a different place to farm. Possibly you could get 6,000 an hour maybe if you find some really good herbs that are worth like 10 a piece. But it probably is possible to flood the market on seasonings because you can only use seasonings so fast to make stuff. But generally, it's a decent way to make money, actually, as long as you have a good spot and you're farming stuff like greenwood or animals between the respawns of the herbs so that you're always doing something to generate money. So the next one I'm going to do is just, what if we cut out all the fluff and we just go straight for greenwood? So if you look at the thing that I did, the greenwood was the bulk of the money, followed by the rawhide, basically. So what if we just cut all this crap and we just go straight for greenwood? Now, I'm going to do this in an area that is near Everfall. There's an area up here, Face Bounty, and I can run around in a circle in this area, and occasionally I can also get iron spawns, which will increase the amount that I make, or you make if you're doing this. and it's close enough to town that when I finally get over encumbered, I can work my way back when I'm getting over encumbered, and then right when I'm over encumbered, I'll be near town. I just run in, put it on the auction, or throw it in storage, and go back out. And that way, there's like as little downtime as possible. Just 100% cutting trees and occasionally mining iron. For this one, I'm just going to do 20 minutes because cutting trees is much more consistent. And then we're going to take the results and multiply them by potentially up to 3. So I'm just going to show you quickly, like this, just like last time, like a 20-second quick speed run of what was happening. And then we'll move on to see what the results were for that. So here's what we came up with when cutting trees. We did this for 20 minutes. We got 3,618 greenwood. We got 688 iron ore and 30 coins worth of rawhide, roughly. The greenwood, this time I was selling for 0.34, which is not necessarily a fair comparison to that. And the iron ore I sold for 0.34, which is a terrible price, but for the purpose of this video, I was just purely undercutting what was available at the time in the settlement that I was in to see. And that's why I like to give ranges like this, because your mileage will vary. So the amount that I got was roughly 1,450 coins in 20 minutes, and it definitely all sold. It is all gone this morning, 100%. I could have probably listed it higher than this and still sold it overnight. Now, at face value, we could just say, okay, multiply that by 3, and this is how much we get in an hour, roughly, at these prices. But that's not necessarily fair, because when doing this, your bag will get full relatively fast. And in my case, with 1,100 encumbrance, I got to go back to town once every 20 minutes to unload. So just give a kind of rough, more fair kind of estimate. I did a times 2.6, and so I include that as a listing time to go back in, list it, and go back out, because it's so much I can't even put it in storage. And that came up to about 3,775 per hour. So I'm just going to say, based on prices on my server, the range of prices on my server, and even down to like some lower prices that are not on my server that might be on your server, this is going to vary from 2,000 coins per hour and maybe 5,000 coins per hour doing this, just cutting trees. Now, obviously, if this is worth 0.05 on your server, it's not going to be quite the same, but I have yet to see a server that bad. But if you have screenshots of a server that bad, I would love to see them, because that sounds really funny, and I would love to see that. So both cutting trees and collecting herbs while cutting trees are both reasonable ways to make money. If you have no money to start, it's actually pretty fast to get up there and even get that, 10K first house, half price 10K half price first house. You could get it in like 3 hours probably on average on my server. On your server, if it's worse, maybe 4 hours. So it's one way to get started, and then you can start investing money like in my other videos where I showed how to invest money. This is how you can get started, get that money so you can invest it. But we got one more to look at. So the next thing we're going to look at is weak mana potions. Now, these are worth a decent amount no matter what server you're on. I have yet to see a server where they're not worth that much, which I would buy that if I was on Ebon Scale. Is the reason it's 0.10 is no one wants to go to Ebon Scale. They're generally on my server sell for 4 gold to 7 gold a piece right now. And this price will probably deflate or change over the next, month or two. And maybe it'll go up, maybe it'll go down. We'll see. Just because nobody wants to go get briar buds. So I'm going to now do a 10-minute run of collecting briar buds, because collecting briar buds is extremely consistent. So we only need 10 minutes in order to get a real estimate of what an hour will look like. So just like last time, I'm just going to show about 10-20 seconds of that speed run. There's a loop we can do over by Everfall. There is a lake to the west of Everfall right here, an unnamed lake. And there are briar buds right here, and you can just go in a circle around the lake just getting briar buds forever at a very consistent speed. So we're going to do that for 10 minutes, see how many briar buds we get, and that's how many weak mana potions we can make. So here are the final results for the weak mana potions. Now, I got 750, I didn't get 750 in 10 minutes, but I got whatever that is divided by 6 was what I got in 10 minutes. And so I multiplied that up, and it's 750 weak mana potions per hour. And the same thing for the Firefly bait. I already multiplied it, and it is 300 Firefly bait per hour. And the Firefly bait is going to be a hard sell at those higher prices. This one has not even sold yet. But these, I've sold a fourth of them, and I didn't even list them correctly, because what you're supposed to do with weak mana potions is evenly distribute them across as many settlements as you can, because what people do is they get that job board for the weak mana potions, they go to the trading post, they buy whatever the cheapest one is at the settlement they are at right now, turn it in, and move on. So you want to distribute these across multiple towns in order to get them sold as quickly as possible and for the highest price. But either way, I can sell them for around 6 if I actually put in the effort to go bring them with me and sell them when I happen to be in random towns. And at these prices, I made around 5,000 per hour, but this amount can vary depending on your server and depending on the prices. But I would reason to believe that you could make anywhere from 2,000 and 7,500 per hour selling weak mana potions depending on the prices. Now, this might come down to like 6,000 an hour as time goes on, or maybe it'll go up if people get really lazy or people stop leveling, maybe it goes down. But right now on my server, on a good day, there's a few different towns I could go to. I could probably average selling this for 8 or 9, and then that would change this pretty wildly, and maybe even get 10 in some places. But honestly, a safer bet's more around 5,000 per hour on my server. Now, that's going to be different on your server, and that's fine, because that means you won't need as much money on your server to get other things. So these are 3 great ways that you can get started making money. We got the herbs and greenwood, or whatever filler you want between the herb respawns. We have just straight greenwood with some iron ore, and we have weak mana potions. These are all great ways to get started making money. Whenever people ask me how to make money, I give them one of these 3 and tell them just go do it. Just go make the money. It's right there in front of you. You can just go make money. And if you think there's actually a server that has 0.01 prices on literally all the items under the sun, send me screenshots in my Discord. I want to check that server out. I actually want to see it myself. But there you go. Now you know 3 great ways to get started making money if you have no money to start off in New World.